Prattville.
Well, it's kind of becoming that time of year. It's still hot outside, but if you're anywhere near a high school or middle school, you can hear the sound of whistles off faintly in the distance. There's buzz of college football starting in a few weeks, a lot of talk of NFL training camps. And in the state of Alabama, one of the most famous times of the year, it is high school football season. Fans, welcome in to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I'm your host, Chris Britton. We are coming live from Rock's Famous Barbecue in Prattville, Alabama on Highway 31 right here on Memorial Drive. If you're anywhere near, we invite you to come out and hang out with us. If you're listening on Dixie Country 100.1, those of you who are watching online as well, welcome to the show. Well, that's enough from me. Fans, let's welcome in the man of the hour, our featured guest, the only guest, the man the show is named after, Coach J.B. Wallace. Coach, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good. So good to see you. I've been looking forward to this week for a while because it means football season starts tomorrow.
That's right.
All right. Well, listen, we've got a whole hour to fill. So before we start looking ahead, why don't we look back a little bit? Last year was year one for the J.B. Wallace tenure at Prattville High School. It was a success, I think, on all fronts. 7-4 season, trip to the playoffs. Let's talk about a little bit about last season and maybe trying to start to get your fingerprints on the program and where we're coming from.
Well, we came in running
Sure.
last year, hired late March, early April, and we were able to get some guys in and get our guys coached up.
Right.
We were fortunate to make it through spring practice with volunteer guys. A lot of guys that volunteered and
Yeah.
that cared about the program, and a lot of ex-coaches with Prattville ties were like, Coach, just let us know. We'll come in and help. And
That's
they
cool.
played a huge role in helping with preparation and things like that. But we came in and we started installing, our system and building our foundation and things, what we believe in, our culture. And, we started off on a fast note in Wetumpka and, really didn't look back.
Right.
We had a few games, where we kind of sputtered a little bit, but we grew from all of that.
Yeah.
And, and our guys, we played hard every week, and that's the thing that we asked for them. We asked them to compete till the final second tick off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we harp on and we expect our guys to do.
Sure.
And, going to the first round of playoffs, had an opportunity to win it. You live and you learn. Our team learned a lot from that experience. Could have very well been a second-round team and further at that point. But,
Right.
I mean, sometimes you have to go through those obstacles to get to where you want to be.
Right.
And our guys handle that well in the offseason, preparing and getting ready for this season.
Speaking of off-season, I'm sure a lot of work went into the weight room. Touch us a little bit about the summer program for the guys.
Yeah, well, even before summer, you look at the winter months, right at the end of the season, we jumped right into it.
Oh, sure,
we gave
it
them
never
about a week
stops.
off, and we had several guys playing other sports, and they went and played basketball, and we had some go to soccer. But, for the core group of guys, we just went back and went to work and worked on building that new foundation that, defining those new leaders, and that's
Right.
what we did. And you lose if a kid is playing two different sports. That tells you the type of athlete that he is. So we lost a lot of our good athletes to other sports. But what it gave us a chance to do was, really put our focus on that next guy and develop him, and,
Sure.
and we create competition.
Hey.
So now when he gets back, we have the guy that went to play basketball, and then we had the guy that we developed. Now we got a whole different playing field, and they're competing, and we're building depth so we can get a lot of guys in on Friday nights. But I mean, the winter months. We spent in the weight room and doing our off-season speed program and all of that good stuff. And then we just carried on in the summer, and we really honed in more on getting prepared to play a game, getting in game shape and all
Right.
that. And June is really a grind. In July, it just goes by so fast because you have the holidays and, 4th of July, and then we have All-Star Week and all
Sure.
that. And so it just flies by. So, after July, I mean, we're to the first week of practice at that
You're
point.
a month away.
Oh, yeah. So, but that's basically what our offseason was, just building character and giving them
Right.
things to really think about. We try to talk to them and give them a nugget, at least twice a week, where we kind of sit there and talk to them and get them to think about something, get them to understand the culture that we're trying to create.
Right.
And build that culture. And that's what the offseason is about, building a brand, and that's
Certainly.
what we're trying to do.
Well, and you made a statement just a moment ago talking about looking for that next guy, building people up. You made a statement in practice yesterday as you're wrapping up talking about if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
That's right.
Talk a little bit about that mentality of, hey, look, everybody out here, be prepared, be ready.
Yeah, it's kind of going against the grain, or I guess going up river sometimes when you think about it, because a kid may be lined up and he's not the guy, or maybe not the starter, and sometimes they tend to naturally think, well, you know, I'm just going to be a backup, and that backfires on you. I don't want anybody ever thinking that. We shouldn't have anybody in our program thinking that I am just a backup.
Right.
I mean, you are a play away, and you're getting yourself prepared for your opportunity. So, you know, so if you stay ready, you know, you're going to come to practice every day. You're going to work out hard in the weight room every day. You're going to do the little things it takes, details and all that. So when your number is called, you're not like a deer in headlights. You're
right.
ready to go, and you can come and perform and help this program get to places where we want it to go.
That's right. And when you hit the home run yesterday, when you told the story of a Lion legend, Gerodis, but
right.
a little bit about that story and how that applies to exactly what you're talking about.
Right. Well, you know, we talked about a guy that everybody knows attached to Proud football, Justin Albert,
right.
and how great of a player he was for us, and how he carried, you know, our program for several years. And, you know, he goes down his senior year with the ACL, and then you have Gerodis, who had been working scout team and getting some repping sparingly behind Justin, but he was getting scout team reps a lot, making us better and making himself better.
Right.
Never once complained. He came every day, packed that lunch, and he went to work. And so all of a sudden, we're playing against Auburn, and got a couple guys that are on our staff that reminded me, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking he went for 150 yards. And no, he went for over 200 yards versus Auburn and 2 touchdowns, and he never looked back. So, you know, that's kind of how that worked out with that situation with Gerodis. I mean, and then he came around his senior year and rushed for over 1,000 yards and signed with Furman and played in the NFL for a few years, and I mean, and the rest is history. So you just never know who the next Gerodis Williams is. Matter of fact, I have a quote on my board that states that you're just an opportunity away for being the next all-state player.
How about that?
You know, nobody may ever know who you are until you get that opportunity. You don't ever have to look back.
And you just step into it.
And that applies to players, coaches. That applies to anybody. That's just anybody.
Sure.
You just one opportunity away. But if you never, you know, stack those days of positives on top of each other, you will never be prepared for that opportunity.
That's right. And you know, speaking of being ready, you know, summertime, there's one schedule. Something started back, I don't know, about a week ago. They call it school, right? So the schedule flip-flops. What's that look like, having them with more of a traditional, hey, after school, before school? What's that looking like, practice, preparing for the season?
Well, I think every team in America experienced that first day where the kids, you kind of got to drag it out of them. You know, that first day, they're getting back in a structured environment.
Right.
We got to be here at this time, and it's all day long.
Right.
And so, you know, that first day, you know, we as a staff, we made it a point that we got to get it out of them today. You know, we got to get the most out of them. We can't take a step back because
right.
although we do have,
yes,
sir, and we can't, you know, afford to take a step back, but just getting back in the grind of things and the everyday structured day, you know, that's been, you know, one thing that we definitely have done a good job of so far, but we have to be cognizant of, because it takes an effect on a kid.
Right.
You know, he's been out all summer, and he wakes up, does football till about 10:45, and then he's on his own for the rest of the day, maybe has a job or something. Well, now he's doing football in the morning, school all day, and then football again, you know, as far as that weights and all that kind of stuff. So it's been fun so far. We've had good days.
That's good. Now, you know, this past week, you got a couple of things going on, really. You're preparing, obviously, for the season opener, but this is with it being the season opener, I was watching a little bit in practice yesterday. Hey, guys, when we call a timeout, come stand here. Speak a little bit to that season prep in this past week, besides just prepping for a game.
Right. Well, you know, I'm a firm believer, and I'm just a product of a system that I came up in.
Sure.
You know, being able to coach under Coach Clark and being able to, you know, see Coach Dubose take over the reins and being a coordinator for him. And you learn things over the years. There's a rhyme or reason to what we do.
Sure.
We don't do anything just to do it. So we want to be organized. One of the things that I can't stand is the offense, and I'm going to use the offense for an example. You know, they just punted us the ball and we returned it, and now it's first down and we leave the sideline with the wrong call or not enough people in the huddle. So you have to practice that.
Yeah.
And it has to become a habit.
Yeah.
You know, another thing that we make a point of is a certain way we handle things when if we're kicking an extra point and, let's say there's a penalty, and then, we move it up half the distance. Well, our guys automatically know what we're going to do next. As a matter of fact, we don't even have to say it anymore.
They know.
They automatically know.
Right.
So there's a certain way you have to handle all those things and certain situations. And we did our play the game script this morning where we put them in all those situations and explain it to them. And it's been getting better. It was good the first time, but this is their, they've been doing it since Coach Ross has been here, so it's a continuation. So it's what we are and who we are and what we do now.
Ready to go. I love it. Well, listen, we've just barely begun to scratch the surface looking into the 2022 Prattville Lions football season. Coach, thanks for the update over the summer. Fans, we're going to go to a break in just a moment. We want to thank all of those of you who are tuning in on the radio, Dixie Country 100.1. Thanks for being a part of the show tonight. Also, those on the Prattville Alive Facebook network watching us there, YouTube, other social media outlets. We're so glad to have you on the show with us as well. You're listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be back after this break.
Another Guardian Credit Union.
Do your ribs rock? Like slap your daddy rock? Rock's Famous Barbecue across from Baptist Hospital on South Memorial Drive in Prattville has the most amazing barbecue in the region. And the service is almost as good as the amazing food. Check out the menu online at rocksfamousbbq.com. Phone 224-8903 for takeout or dine in. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. If your barbecue pork and chicken ain't rocking, you ain't been to Rock's Famous Barbecue, South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
For well over 50 years, the River region has depended on Arrow Pest Control, which has grown to be one of the largest and most respected pest control science leaders in the area. Pest control is a science that eliminates pests that invade and potentially damage your property. They use only the top-rated pest control products, including the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. Arrow Pest Control was built on customer service and satisfaction, and that's still number one today. Call us, 334-365-4610, and find out about mosquito control. Arrow, your best shot for pest control.
Before you buy your next new vehicle, visit LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
For the best prices on pre-owned vehicles, visit LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
I'm Brad at Larry Puckett Chevrolet. To find your next car, truck, or SUV, visit us at LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
For the best prices and huge inventory, visit LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
Be sure to like our Larry Puckett Chevrolet Facebook page. Who knows, you could be our next winner.
Save time and save money at LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
Give me some U.S. farm-raised catfish. Give me some U.S. farm-raised catfish.
I only use U.S. farm-raised catfish.
We've been selling U.S. farm-raised catfish since 1978.
They do have a choice for a good, wholesome, safe fish. We know it's a good product.
Ask for U.S. farm-raised catfish, only the finest, freshest, tastiest. You can taste the difference.
From our farm to your table, your family deserves the best. U.S. farm-raised catfish.
Show. I'm your host, Chris Britton, here obviously with Coach J.B. Wallace, the man the show's named after. We can't do a show without you, buddy. And then we're joined also this segment by City Councilman John Chambers. John, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being on. As I understand it, you got a little lion blood flowing through your veins. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you could say that. I obviously went through the school system all the way through graduation. I won't tell you what year I graduated. But, yeah, I had
when I graduated, Columbus hadn't sailed the ocean blue yet, so I get it. It's all right.
Yeah, it was a whole different ball game. School was a little smaller. But, yeah, obviously the big thing in town was Prattville football. I remember when I wanted to go to the game, the way my dad treated me was, all right, son, you got to cut the yard first. I had to earn the money to go get my ticket.
Right.
But eventually, a little tidbit, I actually got into broadcasting a little bit myself. My buddy and I, Kyle, just doing it from home with a movie camera. And we recorded a lot of those games from the 80s, like the Kevin Turner days and things like that.
Yeah.
So we had a little blast out of that. And, obviously love the Lions and continue to support them.
Yeah, fantastic. I tell you what, while we got you just for a couple minutes, do you mind speaking a little bit about some of the progress going on downtown regarding the stadium, the park, stuff like that, in case people don't know?
Well, we have a lot of stuff going on, especially with the Parks and Recreation Department. As you well know, the stadium is one of the main projects. The light's already in, so looking forward to seeing that on Friday night. I'll be firsthand in the press box for that, so that's going to be exciting. And I know the stadium should be completed by sometime next year, if I'm not mistaken. So that, plus some other parks and recreation, various parks around town. So that's exciting to see a lot of improvements.
Awesome. Well, Mr. John, thanks for stopping by and sharing a little bit with us about the city of Prattville and what's going on, man. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great.
Best of luck. Go Lions.
Yes, sir. All right, Coach. One of the things we were talking about in the break, you've got some continuity with the staff, obviously. You got some guys back. You got some new faces. Tell us, introduce the fans, the Lion Nation, just a little bit to the 2022 Lions coaching staff.
Well, some of the guys that we have that were back, and I'm going to start with those guys. But, offensively, Coach Foreman coaches our receivers.
Yeah.
He's also our academic coach. He handles everything academically with us as far as tracking our players'
So
progress.
Lansdale did that last year. You telling me he failed? I'm joking. He failed. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we had to rework some things, but no, he didn't fail. He did a great job.
He passed.
And if I can for a moment academically, I'll brag on our guys. You know, as far as just AB honor roll and straight A honor roll guys that we had. I mean, we had awesome. Anywhere from 28 to 37 guys that were honor roll students.
Man, that's fantastic.
We had guys that may not have made honor roll, but this is the first time in a long time that they were AB and a 78.
How about that?
Or something like that. And so we pinpointed those things, and we're looking forward to getting those guys on honor roll. But Coach Foreman handles academics now. On our offensive line, Coach Thornton, he's an assistant principal now, so congratulations.
He graduated,
He graduated. He's an assistant principal. He's a big dog now.
That's right.
So we were able to bring in Coach Devin Myers, which we were happy to get him. He came in from the University of West Alabama. And also with him, we have a line favorite, Austin Golson.
I didn't know. I saw him yesterday. I was excited to see him out there.
It's to see him out there interacting with the boys has been great. So, and I know these aren't holdovers. I'm just talking about my offensive staff right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And running backs, Coach Moncrief, we'll talk about him real quick. He coached receivers last year. He's moving to our offensive coordinator role this year. So he understands what it takes and how we want to play and the level we want to play it at. But he's going to be coaching our running backs. He's offensive coordinator. He'll be coaching our running backs.
A Prattville graduate, by the way. Justin Thomas. We were happy to get him on board, and he's been with us working with our quarterbacks. I was excited when I heard he was coming to town to work for you this year.
Yeah, very excited. And how that came about, early in the morning sometimes I get to work early, and I go up to the track behind the gym, and I'll jog, and I saw this young man sprinting the soccer field, and I was just jogging. Now, I wasn't running as fast as he was, but I did take note. I said, whoever that is, that guy can run. And so I get to the top of the hill, and he waves his hand at me, and we go talk. And he told me, he said, Coach, if you need me, I'm here.
How about that?
And so I held him to it.
Yes, I need you.
And he's here with us.
That's awesome.
Also, Coach Wesley Warren, he's pulling double duty. He's our freshman offensive coordinator, but he's also a receivers coach, and he's assistant Coach Foreman. Man, I've worked with Coach Warren for years. He was with me at Marbury, and I noticed from then his work ethic and his attention to detail and his energy, and he's a guy that we wanted to definitely keep with us offensively. So, Chris Morris is our strength and conditioning coach. Right. He also works with our tight ends, and he's the glue that holds it together in the weight room.
Year two for him. He's back.
Yeah, year two with us.
Right.
He was here. We inherited him.
Yeah.
And we're glad that he's on board and with us. Defensively, Coach Corey Lee, which is, he's one of mine. I like to say one of mine. I coached linebackers for years, and he was one of my linebackers, and he's the defensive coordinator. The energy he brings, the knowledge he brings, and just his work ethic. Man, he's a working machine.
Yeah.
And which I'm very proud of that. But he's our defensive coordinator, linebackers coach. Defensive line wise, we were able to bring in Coach Blake Bradley. We brought him in. He's a former head coach. He's got that experience. He's coaching our defensive line. We can't forget about the Eddie Brown, the legend, the legendary Eddie Brown, and he typically puts his hands on the D-line a little bit, but he floats around a little bit and gives me a lot of input too, and some of the things that he's able to see, he can see stuff coming.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate the most. You know, he can see the storm coming, and he said, "Look, let's get an answer for this." You know, so but he's with us. Linebacker wise is KJ Lawrence is another coach that's back, former player at Prattville. He's back and he's been doing an exceptional job for us. Coach Lansdale, which you mentioned him before. Coach Lansdale is our special teams coordinator and also our safeties coach. So that's what he does for us, and he's an attention to detail guy. Was able to have him on staff and coached him as well. Back in 2005, I believe it was. But he's on staff and doing that for us. Coach DeBartoleben, Coach D, he's coaching corners, as well as Coach Perry, which is a newcomer on our staff. Both of those guys are Prattville graduates as well.
Coach D looks like he could suit up and get on the field today.
He still can. But I don't give him credit anymore. I tell him he's washed up. So he don't like that too much.
Keep him humble.
Oh yeah, but he still got it. He still got it.
Yeah.
And also we have Anthony Brown and Eddie Brown, which are sons of Coach Brown.
Right.
They both coach on the freshman staff, but they also come and assist us on the varsity as well.
Yeah.
You know, so in a nutshell, you know, that's our staff, and also Brandon Bailey, he comes in and gives insight as well on our defensive front. So, you know, that's in a nutshell, that's our staff. And
a lot of football experience, a lot of guys that have been different places. I noticed a lot of Prattville guys.
Yeah.
Speak to the importance of guys who've been a part of the program, and now they're back.
Well, I'll say this. When I came and I had an opportunity to come back to Prattville, I did not think that I got to get as many Prattville guys as I can.
Sure.
That wasn't my thought. I want to get as many good men that can coach and can mentor these guys and have that energy that we're looking for. And fortunately, there were a lot of Prattville guys out there that were wanting to come back to the house and get it back to where it was, and they understand the process and they understand the work that they've done when they played to get there. And so, I mean, I just call it a blessing. And then, you know, outside of the Prattville guys, you know, the guys that are not tied with Prattville, you know, we got the right mix of guys in with that mentality, that championship mentality, that character that you're looking for, you know, to tutor these young men.
Well, you said it. I mean, it's we almost refer to him as the godfather of Prattville football, but Coach Clark, he influenced a lot of people, yourself included. But some of those guys that are back, they just, like you said, they understand the Prattville way. They understand what it takes to win state championships, and those are the guys that are on your staff. That's awesome. Right.
That's what we build it. That's the core group of guys that we build it on. And if you didn't win it at Prattville, you were involved in it somewhere else, and you know what it takes. And those are the guys that we wanted to get in our program. You know, I had a visitor yesterday that's a former Prattville player, and he actually came in when we had Hurricane Katrina, and he was talking about how the process of being in our program affects him today on how he works and you know, just being able to withstand the grind of competing at his job every day. You know?
Well, and that's what it's about. If I'm not mistaken, I've heard you say that, football's important, but creating men who know how to live life and be men, that's the important part, and football takes care of itself.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so we got a little bit more time in this segment. Yeah, we got a couple minutes. All right. Let's just take a glance at the schedule this year. You know, what do we have coming? Obviously, we got Foley. We'll look a little closer at that game towards the end of the show tonight. Got a week off. Talk a little bit about the season and what we have coming up for the Lion Nation.
Well, we've added new teams to our region. We're in a 9-team region, which is not common. Common. You know, as far as when you're setting your schedule. But a 9-team region. Yeah. And so we've added Opelika and Robert E. Lee. And so we have the teams that we've always played, which is a monster when you start talking about the Centrals, the Auburns, the Dothans, you know, all those teams. And so now you add Opelika and Robert E. Lee into it. So we have a work cut out for us, but I mean that makes for good football.
Well, yeah, and you said it earlier too. It's like you've got to tough games present adversity, and you got to go through adversity so you can find out the best version of who you are.
Right, that's right. And you have to get tested. You're either going to get tested now or you're going to get tested later. So let's go ahead and go through the test now so we can be prepared and get it done.
Yeah.
And, you know, looking through the list, we were talking, and I definitely don't want to leave out one of my coaches. And, you know, I was just trying to spit them off the top of my head. But last, definitely not least, a Prattville line, Reggie Jackson.
Yeah.
Coaches D-line for us. You'll probably see him around now. He's kind of got his scooter because he's had an accident with his ankle or whatever.
I was going to say, I mean,
don't hold it against
I think that's why you left him off, because he stole Coach Brown's golf cart and is riding it around now.
Oh, yeah,
so.
yeah. But definitely a hard worker. And you know, a guy that what he brings to the table, on the field, off the field, things like that. He understands kids, and he understands the mindset and things like that. And of course, he's a former player, so definitely want to add him. And I hope I didn't forget any of it, but I was just rattling them off the top of my head.
Well, Lord, you're flying by the seat of your pants. I get it. One of the things I've noticed about your staff, and I love it, you've got a balance, it appears to me, of those younger guys that are a little bit closer to the age of your players. I mean, not right. I mean, obviously they're gone through college and they've graduated, but those younger guys that can really connect and help build that fire in them. And you got those older guys that bring. It looks like a balanced staff, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. And that's one thing that I did want to do. I wanted to get enough of the new blood. Enough of the older guys, you know. I guess me, I'm an older guy now.
You're in the middle, man.
Well, I want to say I'm in the middle. You know, I like to get out there and run around with the guys.
Yeah.
And
they were cheering you on yesterday.
No, they were picking on me is what they were doing. They were picking on me. You know, they called me out on film, and they said I've lost a step. So it's been personal lately.
That keeps it fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well, Coach, thanks for more of your time. We're going to stay with you. But, fans, we're just about to go to a break in just a minute. We want to thank those of you who are listening on the radio, Dixie Country 100.1. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Also, those of you watching streaming later or streaming live now, thanks for being a part of the J.B. Wallace Show. We're so glad to have you. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with more J.B. Wallace Show right after this.
Durbin Auto Parts on South Memorial Drive is proud to be a supporter of Prattville Lions Athletics. As your locally owned CarQuest dealer, the Durbin family assures you that they'll get the right parts the first time. They also carry the full line of steel power equipment and die-hard batteries. When you do business with Durbin Auto Parts, your money stays in Prattville so they can support the local community and great programs like Prattville Lions Athletics. Durbin Auto Parts, 948 South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
Think local. Think of all the skill and talent found right here in our community. Hands that build, hands that feed, teach, protect, and hands that heal. Guardian Credit Union reaches out to people just like you. Handling loans for new cars, opening doors to new homes, saying yes to fun and adventure. When you need a strong, steady financial hand, think local. Think Guardian.
You fired up the grill for one hot dog? Seriously?
Hot dogs, better with Pepsi.
Hun, those ribs ready?
No. Ribs, better with Pepsi.
It's a long pass down the amazing aisles at Prattville Pickers. It's a great catch, showing thousands of incredible treasures. It's the biggest lineup of rustic wood furniture at the Depot Furniture Gallery. It's the national champion of antiques, collectibles, treasures. The Depot Furniture Gallery at Prattville Pickers. A winning combination for home, lifestyle, and recreation. Don't let the game clock run out before you make a winning catch at Prattville Pickers. Highway 82 West. Shop PrattvillePickers.com and Facebook.
I don't know if you can feel the excitement in the air, but we are one day away from high school football. It's an exciting time of year. You can have your Alabama football. You can have your Auburn football, but it's time for high school football, and I'm a little fired up. And I think it's partly because I'm a Kentucky guy. You know, we like basketball. On the college level, we've never been really that good. There's a little brouhaha going on right now between our basketball coach and our football coach. I don't know if you've been following it. Yeah. But
well, I'll say this.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed, but when you said you were a Kentucky guy, I don't know if you noticed all these eyes shifted. I'm sitting here looking. I got nervous. So.
I might owe some of them money. I don't know, man. I need to watch out. Anyway, well, Coach, one of the things I'd like to talk about during this segment, if we could, last year we had a couple of different awards, Player of the Week, Student of the Week, that kind of thing, sponsored by different organizations. Talk a little bit about that, but overall, the sponsors of the program and what that means to the program.
Yeah, man, it's the lifeline of the program. You know,
Right.
you have businesses and people, coming together and supporting the program and supporting the kids, and I'm very excited about that, and I'm thankful for everybody that chips in to do the little things that we want to do to make this program a big program and a fun program to be a part of.
Right.
One of the awards that we give every year or every week is the Pepsi Buffalo Rock Player of the Week. So that's one that we will continue to do as well. Yeah. That's voted on. Through sports writers and also coaches and things of that sort.
Yeah.
We'll also do something new this year. We'll do what you call the Powerhouse Player of the Week.
Okay.
And that will be sponsored by Soul Revival.
Now, what's the Powerhouse Player of the Week? Is that like all-week performance, like in the weight room?
Well, no, that's more of our special teams Player of the Week and our money team Player of the Week.
Got it.
And so they have a Powerhouse Burger there at Soul Revival.
Okay.
And so if you win that award, you get the Powerhouse Burger.
I may need to go check that out and make sure it's a legitimate award.
Yeah, it's a big burger. It's a nice burger, so we'll be doing that one. Also, I want to throw in at Fox's Pizza. We'll be sponsoring also the whoever gets the Player of the Week, the Pepsi Buffalo Rock Player of the Week. Fox's Pizza has also is sponsoring 5 players, so that'll be the home game. So our home games, Fox's Pizza will be being involved there. Also, Rocks has been a huge sponsor.
Yeah.
Yes, that, and that's where the show is tonight, man. And the environment here is great. So I'm very thankful to be able to come in and have our coaches show here at Rocks and the smell of the food. I don't know if I'm not going to be able to.
I was about to say, I'm going to boycott because it smells so good in here tonight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. So I'm going to definitely get my share before I leave. But, that'll round up. And also our Student of the Week.
Yeah.
That's one that I may not have mentioned. That's something that we started last year, and we let our teachers get involved with that, with their input on student athletes or football players that are doing what they're supposed to in class, being leaders and all that kind of stuff. And maybe not necessarily the guy that's a student, but one that may have started off rough and has picked it up, and one that's improving. So our Student Athlete of the Week, or our Student of the Week, is sponsored by Seed Incorporated, Icons Barbershop, The Spot Barbershop, Tammy's Barbershop, also Billings Auto Detail. Trifecta Performance is a new one that has come in and sponsored that one, as well as CCLL Creations.
Okay.
Who, come in and sponsored our Student of the Week. So our guys, man, they get excited about that, to see them, and I kind of give them a little speech before I award that one, and to see their eyes, and they're thinking, is it me, is it me?
I was just about to say that, because you're around those guys all day, or a lot of the day, every day, and I just see them in spurts here and there, and to watch them, just when they got recognized here on the show, or if I saw them at practice or something and asked them about it, hey, how about you win the just light up, like, yeah, I did. You want me to do it again?
Right, it's got to be important. And football and Prattville is important. Being successful, winning on the field is important, but also, man, being a great student and being a great person is important.
Right.
And so it's whatever you make it important. It's important to us, so we definitely take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, well, and it's like we were saying earlier, you want to develop young men who succeed in life, and football alone doesn't carry them there. You put the academics with it. Man, you got a recipe for a dangerous fellow one day when he gets out into the workforce or the world or whatever he's going to do.
Correct.
He's set to succeed. That's awesome. All right, we've got a few more minutes, I believe, in this segment. Let's talk about you gave us a glance at the schedule. This week's prep, I mean, you've been working all summer, generally talking about a season. Now we're prepping a week, looking at a team.
Right.
What does that look like? How's that get a little different?
Well, fortunately for us, we've already prepared for Foley this summer.
Yeah.
Just like all our other opponents.
Sure.
So what we're doing now is all the work that our coaches have done, we've pulled it out, and now we're going back over it to make sure if what we like then we still like, and have, can we do it? Do we have the personnel? So for the kids, it's really their second time around. So this is their second week playing Foley, not the first week. And we do that for all our opponents. We try to build our summer in that way and in that capacity. But just the three phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams, and being able to just try to pick them apart and figure out who they are on all three phases.
Yeah.
And this week, we definitely have our hands full. Very talented team coming in. Have an Alabama committed receiver, and he's a ball player. Excellent talent at defensive end. Couple of good DBs that definitely could be some of the best in the state. So we have to know where those guys are at all times.
Sure.
And even at receiver, you have the young man committed to Alabama, but they have another receiver that may be an inch or two shorter, but he's just as talented, in my opinion, when you look at him play and understanding how to get in windows and make a play when he gets the ball. So, like I said, definitely our work is cut out for us.
Well, from a coaching perspective, it's got to be difficult. So you get a few weeks in the season, if you got tape on guys, you got tape on other teams. That doesn't exist right now.
Right.
But now it's a blessing and a curse because they don't have any tape on you.
Yeah.
What's that like? You're not flying blind, but you got one hand tied behind your back.
Well, correct, and I would like to think they don't have tape on us. But you have to dig from the year before.
Sure.
And you're looking at things like stats and who touched the ball the most. Is he coming back and all that kind of stuff, and even. And some of the coaches that I mentioned, and Coach Jackson being one of them, man, he's huge about going and finding out what these guys that we're playing against, what they do on Rivals or on these scouting websites and stuff like that. And you can talk, watch their interviews and watch a sports writer, and then you kind of figure out a personality to him and who he is, So he brings that to the table.
Yeah.
And, if something hits social media, he comes to me right now. Hey, Coach, look at this. You might want to check this out. So he's on top of it. He's on top of it. But, so we're going in with no film. We're kind of guessing at what we thought we saw last year and things like that, stats and all that. it's we'll find out tomorrow.
That's right.
Not necessarily a fun feeling. I like to think they're doing the same. But,
yeah.
But preparation is key.
All right. Speaking of tomorrow, and I don't know for the rest of this break, let's talk just a little bit. I don't know how it matters. I think it does. It's kind of cool. Prattville, Stanley Jensen Stadium, Kevin Turner Field is always a fantastic place to watch a ball game. This year, people are going to be able to see it a little bit better. Once the sun goes down, I think we're going to be able to see a little bit better because there's some new lights and maybe some fancy or some exciting stuff to go along with that. Talk a little bit about that and what, I don't know about expectation about that, but where you are with that.
Well, I tell you, it's definitely much needed, and I'm excited to see it. We had Meet the Lines last week, and we were able to get under the lights and perform and get our returners under the lights and receivers under the lights, DBs, and it's definitely a different feel than we've experienced before at Stanley Stadium. It's much brighter, much better quality of light.
Yeah.
Almost feel like you're playing at a college stadium when you're down in that atmosphere.
Yeah.
And by the way, speaking of that, if the atmosphere tomorrow night is going to be anything like Friday night, it's going to be an amazing place to be tomorrow. So.
I was not able to be at Meet the Lions. I couldn't make it down there, but I had another obligation I needed to be at. But I drove by because I wanted to see. I thought my schedule was off, and there was a game last Friday. There were so many people out there. There were so many cars.
Well, I'll tell you, just tradition of being a player at Prattville and coaching at Prattville, I'll tell you something you look for when you're riding the bus to the stadium and you make that left by the library.
Right.
And when you make that left and there are no parking spots at the library.
For a practice.
Yes, and you got to squeeze your bus down that road. That is game day at Prattville High School.
Yes.
And I don't know, and I talked to Mr. King about it. I don't know if it's something that is planned or scheduled, but for years, as a player and as a coach, we're looking at over 20 years of coming down there. For some reason, when we get right by the pool and the playground area, the drummers start some cadence. I don't know if they're basing it off our arrival or what, but it's been like that since I've been a player.
How about that?
And it gets your blood just pumping.
Ready to go.
You know it's game time.
That's
right. It's game time. So that atmosphere was like that on Friday. The
awesome.
Band was preparing, they were prepping, no parking spots.
Yeah.
So I advise you tomorrow, get there early.
Yes,
get
please.
There early.
And support the booster or the quarterback club by buying parking.
That's
okay,
right.
There's other places you can go, but hey, fill those up first.
Yes.
Man, buy that.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, listen, Coach, thank you for what we've had thus far. We've still got plenty of show left. So, fans, those of you who are tuning in on the old-fashioned way on the radio on Dixie Country 100.1, welcome to the show. We're going to be back with more in a few minutes. Those of you watching online or streaming, thanks for being a part of the Coach J.B. Wallace Show as well. We're going to be back just after this break.
Do your ribs rock?
Like Slap Your Daddy Rock? Rock's Famous Barbecue across from Baptist Hospital on South Memorial Drive in Prattville has the most amazing barbecue in the region. And the service is almost as good as the amazing food. Check out the menu online at rocksfamousbbq.com. Phone 224-8903 for takeout or dine in, Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. If your barbecue pork and chicken ain't rocking, you ain't been to Rock's Famous Barbecue, South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
For well over 50 years, the river region has depended on Arrow Pest Control, which has grown to be one of the largest and most respected pest control science leaders in the area. Pest control is a science that eliminates pests that invade and potentially damage your property. They use only the top-rated pest control products, including the Centricon termite colony elimination system. Arrow Pest Control was built on customer service and satisfaction, and that's still #1 today. Call us 334-365-4610 and find out about mosquito control. Arrow, your best shot for pest control.
Before you buy your next new vehicle, visit LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
For the best prices on pre-owned vehicles, visit LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
I'm Brad at Larry Puckett Chevrolet. To find your next car, truck, or SUV, visit us at LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
For the best prices and huge inventory, visit LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
Be sure to like our Larry Puckett Chevrolet Facebook page. Who knows, you could be our next winner.
Save time and save money at LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
Give me some U.S. farm-raised catfish. Give me some U.S. farm-raised catfish.
I only use U.S. farm-raised catfish.
We've been selling U.S. farm-raised catfish since 1978.
You do have a choice for a good, wholesome, safe fish. We know it's a good product.
Ask for U.S. farm-raised catfish, only the finest, freshest, tastiest. You can taste the difference.
From our farm to your table, your family deserves the best. U.S. farm-raised catfish.
Welcome back, Prattville Lions Nation. I'm telling you what, I'm excited. I think you're excited. Everybody's excited. I'm going to invite all of my 10,000 closest friends to come down to Stanley Jensen Stadium tomorrow night and be excited for the season opener for the Prattville Lions as they take on, it'll be a battle of lions, I guess, the Prattville Lions against the Foley Lions. Well, this show is kind of getting a little flair from the city council. I don't know if you've noticed that, Coach Wallace.
Yeah.
We had with us Mr. John Chambers earlier. Now we've got a fella, no stranger to the city of Prattville, Mr. Marcus Jackson. Mr. Jackson, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing good. Hey, listen, all right, we talked just a little bit with Mr. Chambers, and Coach Wallace and I talked about it a little bit in the last segment. There's some stuff happening with the city in regard to the stadium and parks and stuff downtown.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about that, kind of a behind-the-scenes look maybe.
Look, I know that the city has decided to invest quite a bit into Stanley Jensen Stadium.
Sure.
And making sure that that's quite an attraction to the city of, for the fans and for the citizens and for the football players and the program. So it means a lot to so many of us here as elected officials.
Yeah, well, and it's a multi-purpose facility too. And I mean, you can have meetings there. There's a dining area. I mean, it's top notch.
They have laid out some tremendous plans where the stadium's going to be one of the best in the state.
How about that?
And, we have some great architects that have put these plans together, and we got one of our own, Will Barrett.
Right.
Shout out to Will. Silver Southeast.
The voice of the Lions.
The voice of the Lions, yeah. They've done a tremendous job, and they're going to, like I say, make sure that stadium is an attraction here for the city.
It's going to be a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
As I understand it, construction is going to kind of sort of a little bit begin during the season. So a little of excitement when you come to the field on Friday night, you'll see stuff happening.
Yes. So next year, hopefully those guys will be fully in, and it's going to be a lot of excitement.
I'm fired up because,
to look forward to.
Yeah, my understanding was they were going to have to take a season off playing somewhere else, but it's going to work out now where, hey, now Stanley Jensen will be home.
It wouldn't be right playing Prattville football.
Going down to the bowl or wherever.
Anywhere else.
True statement.
But in the jungle.
That's right.
I agree.
In the jungle.
With DJ Haynes down the end zone.
With DJ Haynes, yes, sir.
He will be
it wouldn't
there
be
tomorrow.
right.
That's right. I tell you, since you're with us, why don't you share a little bit? I mean, we'll get away from football for a minute, but tell us a little bit about the Marlin and Marcus Foundation and what you guys are doing and where we're raising funds for and things like that.
Yeah. Now, we were just fortunate enough to have our second annual golf tournament. We had quite a few people come in this year to help us raise money to try to build a state-of-the-art Community Center.
Yeah.
Right there in the heart of District 2, up near the North Highland.
Right.
North Highland site was the site of the only school for African Americans prior to integration. So we had some tremendous names in sports come down and support. You know, you got Brian Jordan, former Brave and Falcon. He's actually an announcer for the Braves now. Andrew Jones came back for the second year. Reggie Sanders. We had some Bama guys this year. Antonio Langham came in. So to get that type of support and people coming here to Prattville to support us and trying to improve lives and to help our community means a lot.
You know, speaking of Bama guys coming back, you know a guy that came led a camp this summer for young football players. Talk a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. This year, you know, Ian, of course, is my nephew, but, you know, we believe in giving back as a foundation.
Sure.
And Ian reached out. You know, he has a heart for this community because he was that kid that looked up to people like Roman and Larry Smith and all those other guys. So he said he wanted to do a camp.
Yeah.
So Marlin and I said, you know what, let's put on a free camp for the kids. So Ian brought down several of his teammates, Henry Toa.
Now, hold on, before you start naming names, I heard he's going to have players with him. I'm like, yeah, guys that are like 5th and 6th on the depth chart.
No.
That's not who he brought.
Yeah, he brought those guys, you know, and they enjoyed it. You know, Henry Toa, J.C. Latham, Moody, Devontae Smith, you know, what's the other kid name? Not Battle. Oh, God.
There was one fella, I'm pretty sure Coach Wallace was trying to sign him up for the O-line. He was about like 6'9", I don't know, big old boy.
Well, we're not even going to talk about that kid. We're not even going to talk about him.
Massive
He went to
individual.
Robert E. Lee and Quinn Barnes. Yeah. He was a lot of fun. We had a good time with him over those 2 days. But those guys really enjoyed being here in Prattville. They enjoyed the hospitality that was shown. And that means a lot. You know, and it says a lot about Ian and who he is.
Sure.
To have that type of influence to get those caliber teammates to come down and participate.
Yeah, they're not going to do that for just anybody.
No.
It speaks highly of Ian, no doubt.
And we had probably, I don't know, between 150, 200 kids show up.
Awesome
man,
turnout.
And those kids had a blast.
Yeah. Well, with both of you guys on here, let's talk a little bit about, we talked about the stadium, the renovation, stuff like that, but it's like both of you have alluded to, there's something special about Stanley Jensen Stadium on a Friday night in the fall where it was the jungle. I mean, talk about that home field advantage, what the crowd means, that kind of thing.
Well, you know, it's something to be said about being in a jungle on Friday night, and especially at that place. That's probably one of the loudest places you could be. It's just the vibe you get when you walk in. And to us, it's normal. You know, we all grew up there and played Little League ball there and high school ball. We're accustomed to it. I mean, but if you're an outsider and you come in and you experience it, it could be quite interesting.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, just having a student section that is there for, they're there for whatever needs.
They're dialed in.
They're dialed in. And they're dialed in starting that morning right before the pep rally. So, I mean, the student section, the MVP.
Yeah.
MVP. But
the 12th man. There
yes. And then Mr. King and the band, you know, they're always giving support. I can recall, you know, a few years ago winning some games because the band is so loud, the communication between quarterback and coach, and center snaps the ball. I mean, so it matters.
Yeah.
You know, everybody matters. And Mr. King and I, we talk all the time about importance of, you know, what he needs from football, what I need from him, and we collaborate because, you know, we're in it together.
That's key,
and he understands it. But, man, that environment is second to none on Friday night at Stanley Stadium. Need everybody there to witness it and to be a part of it. I mean, it's the place to be. It's the place to be on Friday night.
Now, people are talking about the lights and how they're brighter and you can see better, but I think there's I don't know what cues it to happen, but there's some little fancy things that can happen with the lights too, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Okay.
I hear.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we have to wait and see.
I guess what you're telling me is the Lion Nation, if they want to see it, they better be there.
They need to be there.
You know, a crazy question, but what does a ticket cost? I know it's GoFan.
Yes, $9 on GoFan. So you order your ticket on GoFan, and then, you know, you come through. We won't sell tickets at the gate, so it's all sold on GoFan.
And I would advise you fans, when you're coming, go ahead and buy those tickets before you get down to the stadium because so many people are hitting the cell towers at the same time. It's going to slow you down.
Right.
Take care of that before you leave the house, and that way you'll just be able to walk in.
Like tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
Buy it tonight.
Well, is there a link to the GoFans?
There will be, if you don't buy them ahead of time, there'll be a QR code right there. But if you just go to GoFan and search Prattville Lions, it'll bring up tomorrow night's game. You want Prattville versus Foley. It'll have tomorrow's date, and then you can buy your ticket there.
Correct.
If somebody wants reserved that center section, are those still available or are those sold out?
I'm not certain
Okay.
if they're sold out, but Ms. Jennifer Bortfield, our athletic secretary, our athletic bookkeeper, she handles that. So get in touch with her, call the school, and ask for Ms. Bortfield,
Okay.
and she could direct you on getting the reserve seats and the season ticket passes and all that.
And if you don't know Stanley Stadium, those are the seats with seat backs too. So not only do you have a reserve spot you can go to, but you can lean back, and that's a nice.
Right. Well, it'll be history too, because it'll be the last season. You'll be leaning back in those seats. The
Good
next
point.
year, you'll be sitting back on
new ones
with the backs on there, with the option to go inside as well and all that. So, be a part of history.
Come
be a part of history.
We might let you take part of one of those metal aluminum sections home with you at the end of the season. I mean, there's no telling. No telling. All right, Stacy, how are we on break? We need to go? Okay. Well, fans, thank you again for tuning in tonight. We've enjoyed having you so far. There's still more Coach J.B. Wallace show to come, but we want to thank those of you who are tuning in on the radio, Dixie Country 100.1, those of you who are watching us online on Facebook Live or any other of the outlets, YouTube, whatever. Thanks for being a part of the show. Drop us some comments. We'll talk about it next week, whatever. Well, fans, we'll be back in just a moment right after this break.
Durbin Auto Parts on South Memorial Drive is proud to be a supporter of Prattville Lions Athletics. As your locally owned CarQuest dealer, the Durbin family assures you that they'll get the right parts the first time. They also carry the full line of steel power equipment and die-hard batteries. When you do business with Durbin Auto Parts, your money stays in Prattville so they can support the local community and great programs like Prattville Lions Athletics. Durbin Auto Parts, 948 South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
Think local. Think of all the skill and talent found right here in our community. Hands that build, hands that feed, teach, protect, and hands that heal. Guardian Credit Union reaches out to people just like you. Handling loans for new cars, opening doors to new homes, saying yes to fun and adventure. When you need a strong, steady financial hand, think local. Think Guardian.
You fired up the grill for one hot dog? Seriously?
Hot dogs, better with Pepsi.
Hun, those ribs ready?
No. Ribs, better with Pepsi.
It's a long pass down the amazing aisles at Prattville Pickers. It's a great catch, shown thousands of incredible treasures. It's the biggest lineup of rustic wood furniture at the Depot Furniture Gallery. It's the national champion of antiques, collectibles, treasures. The Depot Furniture Gallery at Prattville Pickers. A winning combination for home, lifestyle, and recreation. Don't let the game clock run out before you make the winning catch at Prattville Pickers. Highway 82 West. Shop PrattvillePickers.com and Facebook.
Lions Nation, this is the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I'm your host, Chris Britton. We're coming to you live from Rock's world-famous barbecue on Highway 31, Memorial Drive here in Prattville. If you haven't gotten here yet to enjoy the show, come eat dinner still, but we're going to be leaving in just a little. Well, we're not going to leave. We're going to eat.
That's right.
But the show will be over in just a little bit. Well, Coach, we've talked about, I think, just about everybody we could, with the exception of some very important people. We've talked about the fans. We've talked about the coaching staff. We haven't talked much about your roster tonight. Let's talk about those guys. Tell us a little bit about some of the guys that are hey, we knew they were coming back and they're kind of a big deal, and some guys that are maybe starting to impress in practice.
Well, you're looking back from starters from last year. We offensively we're bringing back Cam Shanks. He's coming back, 1,100-yard receiver.
Yeah,
had a tremendous year for us last year. And had a great fall camp. I mean, he's always working, always a hard work and all that, but he's a returning starter, as well as our running back, Mario Parks.
Yeah.
And Mario Parks, man, has worked so hard in the offseason and really has transformed his body.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
He's changed.
Oh, yeah, he's changed. And, he's a step or two faster.
Yeah.
And that's what he was talking about. He stopped by the office today, and he has a tendency to do that on Thursdays, by the way. I don't know. But anyway, I look forward to it. And so, but he's a returning starter, and we're expecting big things out of him. Calvin Parker, who's a receiver for us as well, and
really
played
came
well.
on last season.
Yes, sir, and had a great summer, 7-on-7 and things like that. I mean, he's got big play potential as well.
No doubt.
Probably one of the most noted guys that I've seen, and he started playing some receiver for us a little bit last year, is Cam Richardson. And, man, he's been very impressive. Very impressive. I can't wait to see him get out and compete tomorrow night and do the things that I've seen him do all summer.
Yeah.
Quarterback, man, we're blessed. We have 2 quarterbacks. We have Josh Broder and Drew Jolly. Both are seniors. Both bring a different dynamic to the game. So we're able to do a lot of different things when we get both of those guys involved.
Yeah.
So, we can get the ball in the hands of our playmakers.
Yeah.
Offensive line-wise, Gerald Abbott was a starter for us last year. He's a returning starter this year. We got a lot of new faces up front.
Yeah.
A lot of new faces. Patrick Moody, center, 10th grader.
Yeah.
Gabe Adams, who moved in, I believe, from North Carolina. He's been well. He's a hard worker as well. Been doing some really, really good things. Garrett Mitchell, which we call Big G, started for us last year. But he's also a leader across the front. Leighton Taggart has done some real good things for us. So I'm very excited about him, and Carson Bowrider also playing O-line. Those are guys that you may have not seen last year, but you'll be seeing those guys this year.
Sure.
A name that I didn't mention, and I can go on and on because we got a lot of guys that play a role, but Mayan Callan, who came in as a sophomore last year, made some clutch catches for us. He always seems to be open, and he'll always make the play, and he's done that. So I'm very proud of that, of what he's done so far. Also running back-wise, Donovan Arrington. Big guy. He's a big back for us. I mean, you're looking at about 6'1", 6'2" kid, 220 pounds.
The other day I was out there and said, who's that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he's a hard runner. Yeah. He's a hard runner, and Ethan Gomez as well in the mix. He's a senior as well. Mario and Ethan are our 2 seniors. But, all those guys, they bring a different dynamic to the game. Defensively,
bunch of dogs over there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Those guys, they take the field. They take it with a different type of energy.
Yes.
But Carmelo Smith, our D lineman,
he's a problem for the other team.
He's a problem. And he's a returning starter. Wendeldrick Rawlinson, our defensive end. Jadarius Fitz, he's a returning starter. Tice Cotry, Sam Payne, those guys are inside backers, returning starters. Also, when you look at our linebacking core, Whit Rawlinson is a name that you may not know much about. Didn't really get a lot of time last year, but man, all of a sudden the light switch came on.
Yeah.
That's Wendeldrick's brother. So, they'll be on the field together. And our nickel, when you start talking about our defensive backs and things, our nickel, Carmelo Jones. He has been a shocker, and I talked to him today, and I was telling him, man, I'm just so proud of you from where you are now to where you started. He has definitely stepped up and become a great player for us. In the secondary as well, we have Tyrell Cowling, who's a cornerback, played a lot for us last year, but he's a guy that we're really leaning on this year, as well as Isaiah Parrish and Caleb Bennett. He's been a good one. Caleb Bruce, Caleb Bruce has been a good DB for us and done some real good things and stood out. DJ Carter, all those guys play corner for us at safety. We have Jalen McClaney. We also have George Thomas. Both of them played last year. Neither of them were starters, but they'll be rolling in as well. And then Turner Walker, our kicker, and Reed Montgomery. Those guys are really who we're leaning on as well.
Look, it's going to be exciting to be down in the jungle tomorrow night, season opener. Coach, in about 5 to 10 seconds, what charge do you have for the fans?
Just come in and be a part of the environment and really cheer these guys on and get us going tomorrow. Our kids look forward to it. It's going to be a great environment.
It's going to be big time. Well, fans, okay. All right, so you got more than 5 seconds now. Anyway, you went down the roster. I don't know how you remember all the names. I don't know how you keep up with all the names like you did anyway, because that's pretty impressive that you did that. A lot of guys out there.
And I have a few more I can add, but I know we got to go on with the show.
That's right. Tomorrow morning, prayer breakfast. Pastor Thaley and United Christian will take care of the fellas. Pep rally in the morning. Be down at the stadium at what time? 4-ish?
Yes. Yeah. Well, we'll get there, 5:15-ish.
Okay. Well, fans, listen, we want to see you down at the jungle tomorrow night. GoFan.com, get your tickets. Thanks for tuning in to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Perfect.
A.B. Wallace Show has been powered by